Welcome back to Matt Talks of Football, and in this is the review video for my prediction for La Liga match day 10. We're gonna see how many of my predictions were right and how many of my predictions were wrong, and how many points I was able to collect. 3 points if the prediction is completely correct, and 2 points if the prediction is correct, but the scoreline is not correct. And I don't think I did that good this weekend. It has been it has not been a really good weekend for me. I was atrocious in Sevilla. I was dreadful in Liga. The only good video till now the performance I have had is in Bundesliga. I think I got 50% of the results correct in Bundesliga. We will see what happens in La Liga. So let's go ahead and start revisiting the games. The first game, it was Alaves versus Valladolid. I went for a 1-all draw. I think I expected it to be a very close game. I expected it to be a cagey game because both these teams are not in a good form. They are both low in confidence. So I thought that it was gonna be both teams are not gonna be able to express themselves like they would have wanted to, and they are gonna be too much scared, especially coming back from the international break. So I expected a very low scoring, a cagey affair. It was anything but that. It was quite an exciting game, quite an open game. Both teams really going at it. It was a close game, but not the way that I thought. Instead of being a very cagey affair, it was quite an open game, quite an exciting game. And Alaves, they went ahead and they took the lead early on. But the thing is that the problem with Alaves is like they were not really able to convert those chances even after taking the lead, and it gave the goals that they scored, both of them, like it was more both individual moments of brilliance. They took the lead 1-0, but then I think Valladolid, with the way that they played, they kept on creating the chances. They put a pressure on Alaves and forced them to do mistakes. They got a couple of penalties. I think they were a bit lucky in that regard, but again, as I said, it was because they created so much pressure towards Alaves that they made silly mistakes. They got 2 penalties. They scored both of them. They scored another goal. It becomes a 3-1, and Valladolid are cruising. And then Kike Garcia, he scores that goal. I mean, I think I feel so bad for Kike Garcia. That goal deserves to be a winner in any game, but unfortunately for him, it didn't matter. Even if he scored that goal, it becomes a 3-2, but it is too little for Alaves to do something about it, and they lose the game. It is now their 4th defeat in a row, and they are in big trouble. Valladolid, on the other hand, it was a huge win for them, a first win in the last 4 games, and that helps them to move up to the 18th place. They are still a relegation zone, but they would be very happy that they got the win, and especially in the way that they did. It was very important for them to get the win. The next game was Athletic Club versus Espanyol, and I went for a 2-0 win for Athletic Club. I thought it was gonna be a very easy win for them, because they are in a very good form, and they they started slow, but they have slowly moved up to the table. Espanyol, on the other hand, they are not really in a good form. They are really struggling, and it showed in this game as well. I mean, it was worse than I would have expected for Espanyol, because Athletic Club were on a different level. They ran riot. They won the game 4-1. So I just got a 2 point from that. I did not get anything in the first game. I got 2 points in this game. And coming back to the game, Athletic Club, as I said, they were sensational in that game, especially in that first half. They did not let Espanyol breathe for 1 second. It was attack after attack after attack. It was a sensational performance from them. 3-0 in that first half. A brace from Iñaki Williams, who had a great game. He was on international duty as well. He comes back and he gives you that performance. I mean, amazing performance from me. Second half, I think they slowed the game down. They prefer to control the game, especially when they go the 4th goal. After that, they just they sat back and they just passed the ball around instead of trying to get more goals. They just wanted to control the game and see it off, and they did it. Impressive performance for Athletic Club. It is important for them to be that. I have predicted them to finish 4th and qualify for the Champions League. They have moved to 5th in the league, in the table, a point behind Villarreal, who are 4th in the league. Espanyol, on the other hand, like they are in a big problem. 4th defeat in the last 5 games, and they have now dropped down to 15th, and they are in a big trouble, and they need to do something quickly and get out of it. Otherwise, it could become a very long and hard season for them. The next game was Osasuna versus Real Betis. Now both these teams are sort of become a dark horses to qualify in those European places. I went for a 1-all draw. Was a 2-1 win for Real Betis, so I don't get any points out of it. The thing is, both these teams are so evenly matched. Both teams are so in so competitive. Both teams are in a very good form. I expect it to be a very close game and an entertaining game as well. But I just did not think I was not able to see pick one team over the other. But I did say that any one of them could win, and I did say that it is if any team wins, it would be a 2-1 win, and that ended up being the right call. But as I said, I did not pick Betis to win, so I don't get any point. It was a very very good game of football, end to end stuff like that is the sort of games that you would want to watch over the weekend. A great game of football, and in the end, it was a Real Betis who nicked it. I think it was a fair result. But Osasuna might say that it should have been a draw because both teams were a fairly level, but Betis got the chance and they nicked it. And huge 3 points for them. They moved up to 7th in the table. Osasuna dropped down to 8th, just below Real Betis, but both of them are on the same points, and it's just it's based on a goal difference at the moment. Both of them still on the hunt of those European places. I think this race between these two, and there are other teams as well, but I think these two are most favorite to somehow break into those European places. At the moment, it is very set with the as I said, fifth. Real Betis are fifth, so it is a very tight at the moment in the league. Mallorca are sixth. That is another surprise package. So Mallorca, Betis, Osasuna, so any one of those teams could break into that European places. So it's looking really exciting for both of them. The next game was Girona versus Real Sociedad. I went for a 2-all draw. It ended up being a 1-0 win for Real Sociedad. So another game where I don't get any points. I went for a 2-all draw because both these teams have been quite inconsistent this season, but both of them came in this game in good form, and I expected a good game out and I expected goals. It was a close game, but there were no goals unfortunately up until late in the second half. Both teams really went at it. It was an end-to-end stuff. I saw the game went like I expected it to be. It's just that we did not get the goals that I thought we would get. Both teams really cancelled each other out. They did not let each other score. Both the keepers had a good game of football, and it was I think I did say in my preview that if there is one team that is going to win, it is going to be Real Sociedad, and they ended up winning. So it's like the second time in my prediction where I have predicted something to happen, but in my prediction I went away from it. So that is why I'm not getting the points that I should get. But coming back to the game, as I said, it was a very close game, a hard fought win. Ozerbol gets the important goal and gets that 3-pointer that is very crucial for his team. For Girona, I think they would be really disappointed that they did not get anything out of it, because it was one of those games where both teams really played their heart out, and unfortunately for them, they were not able to convert the chances, and Real Sociedad did it. And one moment of the game that just changed the scenario of the game. Girona have now dropped down to 12th, and it is now sort of becoming a problem for them. Their opponents, on the other hand, they have continued to rise. Their start of the season was atrocious, but slowly they are rising. They were 15th before the weekend started. Now they are 11th. They are above now Girona as well. So their rise continues. They want to get back to those European places, and if their performances continues like this, I think it will take them a couple of weeks and they would be back into the top 8 or top 7. The next game was a Celta Vigo versus a Real Madrid, and I went for a 1-all draw. It ended up being a 2-1 win for a Real Madrid. So another game where I don't get any points. But I remember when I made the prediction and the video came out, even my own brother was like, "What is this prediction? How do you expect Real Madrid to draw against Celta Vigo?" But when the game happened, like Celta Vigo, I've seen, if you're not following the league this season, you would not understand, because Celta are on a different level this season, and they really made Madrid struggle. Even though Madrid took the lead 1-0, Celta came back and they equalized. And even before Madrid had scored, Celta created so many chances, and even when after they equalized, they again created so many chances. I think they would be kicking themselves. They would, pulling their hairs out, punching themselves that they did not convert those chances. I mean, the 6-7 good chances where they could have easily gone at and they could have taken the lead. And they once if they take the lead, I think then that's the scenario of the game completely changes, because then the onus is on Madrid to come back first, equalize, and then take the lead again. That it becomes very hard for Real Madrid to do that, because everybody expects them to win, and it's not just that it's a normal game, it's a game before that El Clasic, so they know how important it is. So that is why I think Celta Vigo missed the mark, and they would be really really disappointed that they did not get anything out of that game, and especially when they played so good. Real on the other hand, I think I keep on saying, like, these are the type of games where you know how good of a team they are, where champions are created when they are not playing good, but they still go ahead and get the 3 points, and Real did it. They have like two amazing players, probably the two best players in the world at the moment, Mbappe and Vini Jr., and both of them, they come clutch when it really mattered. Mbappe scores the first goal, and then when the team really needed it, Vini pops up and he scores that second goal, and Real Madrid won it. They did not, I don't think they deserve to win that game. I will be very honest with you. I think it should have been a draw, because Celta Vigo, they played really good and they deserved something, but Vini comes up, scores the goal, and they get those 3 points, important 3 points for them. And now they would be just wait for that game against Barcelona on Saturday, the big game, El Clasico. Celta on the other hand, they have dropped down to 10th, and it's not a big deal for them. Their performances have been really good. They did not get anything out of it, but I think they should be really happy with the way that they performed in that game. The next game was Mallorca versus Rayo Vallecano. Now two teams who are exceeding expectations at the moment. Nobody expected them to be in the top 10, top 8 after 10 games in the league. But both of them have been really good, and that is why I went for a 2-1 win for Mallorca. It was a 1-0 win for Mallorca, so I finally get 2 points because I thought that it was going to be a very close game, both these teams are gonna go at it, and it is going to be very close game. But just because Mallorca are home, I thought they were gonna edge it, and that's what happened. Like, they both teams were on a different level. It was such a great game to watch, such an exciting game to watch. Chance after chance, end-to-end stuff. Both teams really going at it, trying to get that win, trying to get the goal, but they were not really able to do it. Both the goalkeepers had amazing game. I don't think they really they stood their ground for more than a couple of seconds, because it was as I said, end-to-end stuff, and they work full 90 minutes. They were on their toes, trying to keep the ball away from inside, getting it back inside the back of their net. But unfortunately for Vallecano, one mistake open and Marucci gets the goal for Mallorca. Open header. I mean, what are you doing? You cannot let him have this much space. And he punishes them for that, and he scores that goal, gets those 3 important points, which moves Mallorca into the top 6. They are in those European places after match day, and nobody would have expected that at the start of the season, but Mallorca are there, and they would be really happy, and they would hope that they can stay in those European places and somehow manage to qualify for the European places. Rayo on the other hand, they have dropped down to a 9th, but they know that the point difference between them and the teams above them is not that much, and they know that a couple of good results and they could be back in contention again for those European places. So many teams are fighting to get back. We talk about Rayo Vallecano. Sociedad are just behind. They moved up to 11. They are coming as well. So a lot of teams are there. It is looking very exciting in the La Liga at the moment. The next game was Atletico Madrid versus Leganes. I went for a 3-1 win for Atletico Madrid. It ended up being a 3-0 for Atletico Madrid, so I get 2 points again. It was one of the best performances that Atletico Madrid have put out this season. I mean, they were amazing in that game. They created chance after chance after chance, but the thing was, in that first half, they were not able to convert those chances into goals. And when Leganes scored that a goal, you would have thought like maybe it was going to be one of those days where Atleti do everything in their power to try to score that goal, but they would not be able to, and they are going to lose the game because Leganes from somewhere they somehow got the lead. Nobody really expected them out of the blue. The way the game was going, nobody thought it was going to happen, and Leganes take the lead. Second half though, I mean, Atleti were ruthless. They played such amazing football. They took it up notch higher than the first half, and then Leganes, they couldn't really do anything. A brace for Alexander Soloth, he needed that. He has been brought he has been brought in for a big amount of money, and he has not been able to score those goals that they want from him, so he would have felt really good with that brace. Griezmann scores in the middle of his Soloth's two goals, so a good win for them. Both their strikers scored. Alvarez was included in two of the three goals, so all three of their strikers were involved, and it was a good performance for them, and they needed something like that because now next week's game is very important, and they need to be on the cocktails of the top two, because at least one of them is gonna drop the points, or maybe both of them drop the points. So it will be very important for Atleti to be there to win their games and get as close to them as possible. Moving on to the next game, and it was Villarreal versus Getafe. I went for a 2-1 win for Villarreal. I thought that it was going to be a very close game. It ended up being a 1-1 draw, so I don't get any points. But I just thought that it was going to be a close game. It was a close game. Villarreal have been really, really good attacking wise, and Getafe have been really good defensive wise. So I thought that it was going to be a cat and mouse sort of a game, and it was sort of like that. Villarreal attacked a lot, and they tried to get try to break Getafe, but it was very hard. They managed to do it once, but they were not able to do it after that. Getafe themselves, I think it was their best attacking performance of the season. It was quite an interesting game, quite an exciting game. I really did not expect this game to be like that. Getafe played with much more freedom than they usually do. I think because they knew Villarreal are gonna come at them, so they needed to adjust, and they played really good in that game. But I would say Villarreal would be very, very disappointed that they did not get the 3 points, because it was expected of them, because Getafe are struggling. They are 16th in the table, just a point above relegation zone, just a point above relegation zone, yeah, and they are in really trouble. So Villarreal would be really disappointed. They were at home as well. These are the type of games that you need to win if you want to qualify for the Champions League. They are still fourth, but they now have Bilbao and Mallorca breathing down their neck. 1 point behind Bilbao, 2 points behind Mallorca. So it's becomes very tough. If they had won, they would have been equal on points with Atleti, who are on third. So I would say 2 points a drop for Villarreal. The next game was Barcelona versus Sevilla. I went for a 2-0 win for Barcelona, but they went just ahead and they destroyed Sevilla. It ended up being a 5-0 win for Barcelona, so I get 2 points. But Sevilla, unfortunately, they got a lot more than that. I mean, Barcelona were ruthless on that day. They just went and they battered Sevilla. They were never really in the game, and I think Sevilla would be very lucky. They would be very happy that it was just 5. It was not more than that, because Barca were on a different level that day. It was an amazing performance for Barcelona, and they go into that El Clasico with such a bravado, with such a good performance. Now I'm just waiting for that El Clasico game. It's gonna be really, really good. They are still at the top of the table, and they showed why they are top of the table. Espanyol, now it's now becoming a bit of a problem for them. They have now dropped down to 13th, and they would hope that this downward trend that has started for the last couple of weeks, it stops, and they can somehow either stay in this mid-table position or try to get back into that top 10 and not get sucked into that relegation battle. The next game and the last game of La Liga in this weekend was a big one. It was Valencia versus Las Palmas. It was 18th versus 20th, and I thought Valencia being at home, they might go ahead and nick it. I went for a 1-0 win for Valencia. It was completely different. Las Palmas shocked everybody. They won a 3-2. I don't get any points out of it, so we'll talk about that later on. But this game was completely different. Valencia started started a game very good, a very in a very good way. They controlled the game, they controlled the tempo, they got the early goal. It was 1-0 for Valencia, and everything is going good. They are creating more chances. They are trying to get that second goal, but they're not able to convert them. There were a good, 3 or 4 good chances where they should have got the goal, but they missed their chances. And then Las Palmas, made them pay, and they went ahead and they get 3 goals. And I mean, what a performance for them. They made it sure to punish Valencia for missing those chances, scoring goal after goal. 3-1 it became. And then even though Valencia got a consolation goal, it did not matter, as it became Las Palmas won that game. It was their first win of the season. Huge achievement for them. It took them 10 match days, but I like it is very important to get a win. The way what it does to you mentally is quite different. Nobody really can explain it. So that was important for them to get it. They have got the hoodoo out of their bag, and it has helped them to move from 20th to 19th. And even though it might not look like something big, but it would be for them. They are now not finally not the team at the bottom of the table. They have been replaced by the team they defeated, Valencia. They started the weekend at 18th. They have dropped down to 20th, and they would be really disappointed that they were not able to get something out of the game. But as I said, I don't think they deserve to be to get something out of the game. Las Palmas were really good, and they deserve those 3 points. And they would hope that this is sort of a start of something better, and they can start getting more wins and try to get out of the relegation zone. And with that, my review of the match day 10 is completed, and it is a disaster for me. I mean, 8 points I have collected out of 30, just 8 points. I did not even go into the double figure, so it has been atrocious for me. Another league, after the international break, it has not been a good weekend for me. As I said in the early on as well, I think it has been 8 points in Liga as well, and 6 points in Serie. I mean, that's even worse than this 8 points, and now again 8 points in La Liga. The only thing a good performance I did this weekend was in Bundesliga, so it has not been a really good weekend for me. We'll see what I do in the Premier League in that video. I hope that I do better than this, but a bad performance for me in La Liga. Let me know how many of your predictions came true in the comments below, and we will see did you do much better than me or not. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 400 subscribers before the month of October, and so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.